Namashreshtam manumapi sachiputram atpraswarupam rupam tasya grajam urupurim maturim gaustavitim radhakundam girivaram aho radhika madhavasam prapto yasya pradita kripaya shri gurum tam natosmi. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, entitled The Residents of Varanasi Become Vaishnavas. Yesterday we were going through some statements made by one of Prakashananda Saraswati's chief disciples. Now, Prakashananda Saraswati is, of course, the chief sannyasi of Varanasi, who, by the influence of Mahaprabhu, was converted from Mayavad, which is known as the Advaitin philosophy of undifferentiated oneness, characterized by various conditions, formlessness, known as Nirakara, formlessness, Nirvishesha, no variety, and Nirguna, no qualities. These are the conditions attached, or the descriptions of the nature of the Supreme Being by Shankara, his followers. Advaitavad. So, he has been transformed from a subscriber of Advaitavad to a bhakti aficionado. He's become a devotee by the influence of Mahaprabhu, and not just him, but his leader, Prakashananda Saraswati, and all of his fellow sannyasins of Varanasi, some thousands of them. And he is expressing his newfound realizations in this regard. So, text 81, actually we'll start at text number 80. He continues, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivatahi Samatvenaiva Viksheta Na Pashandi Bhavedruvam. A person who considers demigods like Brahma and Shiva to be on an equal level with Narayan is considered an offender, Pashandi. So that's where we left off yesterday. And this, of course, is number 2 of the Das Nama Parad. Text 81. Prakashananda kahe tumi shakshat. Prakashananda kahe Prakashananda kahe tumi shakshat Bhagavan tabu yadi karatanra das abhiman. Prakashananda replied, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna." Oh, so this, hang on, this is, oh, right. So the last 2 verses are Mahaprabhu replying to Prakashananda's follower. Hang on. Oh, I see. Hang on. I jumped a little ahead here. Right, so previously was Prakashananda Saraswati. It's not that it matters too much, it's the content of these verses that are important. But right, so this is actually directly between Prakashananda Saraswati and Mahaprabhu. So his one of his leading disciples has already said his verses. He's already expressed himself, and then Mahaprabhu offers some kind of praise to Prakashananda Saraswati, and Prakashananda Saraswati expresses contrition for his previous offences, and then Mahaprabhu replies, and then So that last verse, a person who considers demigods like Brahma and Shiva to be on an equal level with Narayan is considered an offender. This is Mahaprabhu speaking. And then Prakashananda replies, Prakashananda kahi tumi shakshat bhagavan tabu yadi karatanra das abhiman. Jai Shri Gurudev. Jai. Prakashananda replied, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. Nonetheless, you are considering yourself his eternal servant. Which is pretty much an accurate reading of the situation. Those fortunate ones get to see Krishna for who he is, or Mahaprabhu for who he is. And those that are less fortunate do not recognize Mahaprabhu or Krishna even when standing directly in front of them. Tabu puja hau tumi bada amahaite sarvanasha haya mora tomara nindate. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Lord, and although you consider yourself the Lord's servant, you are nonetheless worshipable. You are much greater than I am, therefore all my spiritual achievements have been lost because I have blasphemed you. So some good points being made. Spiritual achievement is lost or diminished when aparad is committed. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu talks about the nuances of Vaishnava aparad. It's not all equal. Vaishnava aparad is not all uniform in its severity. It depends upon the intensity of the aparad, and two, the object of the aparad. So, if the target of the aparad is a Shuddha Vaishnav, then the aparad is considered first degree, very severe, and one can completely lose their spiritual advancement. Progress is wiped. But if the target of the aparad is not Shuddha Bhakta, but of a lower stage, then accordingly the reaction to that aparad is not so severe. And the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says that one's spiritual advancement is reduced from one level to the level beneath, or two or so levels beneath. So the person's bhakti is not obliterated, but rather just diminished. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayanaha sudurlabha prasantatma kotisvapi mahamune. O great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhis who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. Text 84. Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokan ashisha evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumsho mahad atikramaha. When a person mistreats great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, and good fortune are all destroyed. Naisham matis tavad urukramangrim sprisat yanartha pagamo yadartaha mahiyasham pararajo bishekam nishkinchananam navarnita yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahajans, great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. So that which is good, the devotee of Krishna, great souls, the Mahatmas, they can offer great fortune, potential for great fortune when coming in contact with them with the right attitude, but coming in contact with the wrong attitude can offer the opposite result, produces the opposite result, misfortune, opulence, reputation, religion, dharma. All of these things are damaged if one insults, criticizes, slanders someone who is a paragon of such virtues, someone who is very spiritually advanced. If they are grossly mistreated, then one loses not only their spiritual adhikara, but also their general good fortune is lost or damaged. And of course it's not just negative, the opposite applies. If one comes into contact with saints and sages with the correct attitude, serves them, develops a healthy, loving relationship, then not only is one's spiritual life benefited, but all of the concomitant benefits that are destroyed through a negative, toxic approach, they are boosted up in a person's life. In other words, their good fortune, reputation, opulence, dharma, all of these things come right in on the coattails of bhakti. So bhakti comes through a service relationship with higher Vaishnavas. So not only bhakti, but other desirable items come as part of the retinue of bhakti. Ebe tomara padabje upajibe bhakti tati lagi kari tomara charane pranati. Henceforward I shall certainly develop devotional service unto your lotus feet. For this reason I have come to you and have fallen down at your lotus feet. So this whole story of Prakashananda is also a story of redemption from Vaishnava aparad. Not that Prakashananda was, in this case, the aparad was quite swiftly redeemed. Mahaprabhu goes through Varanasi on his way to Vrindavan, and at that time Prakashananda publicly criticizes Mahaprabhu. And then a few months later, Mahaprabhu is coming back through Varanasi, coming back from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri through Varanasi, and Prakashananda redeems himself. Prakashananda apologizes and surrenders and converts to bhakti. So it was a very short gap between the offense and the redemption, which is fortunate in this sense, but it is an instructive episode in aparad and its redemption, which is important for us to see, because aparad is quite in a sense you could say it's like the boogeyman of bhakti. It's like bhakti is a hoitaki. A hoitaki means it's unstoppable. Nothing can stop the flow of bhakti, as it's more powerful than anything in the Maya Shakti. It's composed of Swarup Shakti, Krishna Shakti. So nothing of the Maya Shakti, of the lower substance, can check it or stop it. It has free reign in this domain, in every domain, including, particularly what to speak of the Mayic domain, has free reign. Ahoitaki, free reign. But the only thing that can stop it is offences inside its own domain. So offences towards those who hold bhakti. That's what can check it. Nothing of this world can check it, but offences inside that world, that can check it. If you go into that world, if you transgress into that world, into that domain, and do create disturbance, then that can check bhakti. Bhakti will withdraw itself. And so it's a very important consideration for devotees, and our Gurudev has cautioned against it. He's talked about it many times as something to be avoided, naturally. If something has, it's not really, the Achilles heel of bhakti is not really an appropriate term, but we're trying to describe something that needs to be avoided because it can have a very real damaging effect on our spiritual progress. So these episodes, these historical episodes, are very instructive. We also have the story of Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and that offense was simply committed in the mind. So, and also there's multiple other episodes. The whole foundation of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math at Koladweep at Aparad Bhanjanera Path is connected, is in recognition of this concept of redemption from aparad. And this is credit to the wonderful prescience of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Param Gurudev, who could see that what is needed is redemption of offense, and then bhakti can flow freely and flourish in the lives of devotees. And so, although there may have been many other internal reasons for his forming the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, Aparad Bhanjanera Path, there is also the wonderful gift of legacy that's left for all of us as a place where offences are redeemed, offences are forgiven. So all of the blocks that come in the way of our spiritual progress can be cleared out there. What a wonderful gift, for a Gurudev, for an Acharya, to the descendants, to the spiritual generations that follow. In other words, all of us and the people that come after us. So this is Prakashananda is an instructive episode in redemption of Vaishnava Aparad, and it's optimistic in the sense that it can be redeemed. And Gurudev says, and Srila Govinda Maharaj, Gurudev says in this regard, that even if Vaishnava Aparad is committed, if one has a very powerful guru, that helps as well. So there are some nuances, and there are several factors that come into play in determining the outcome of an aparad act, an act of aparad. If one has a powerful guru, then the grace of the guru may be clouded for a temporary period of time, but then it must again come through. So the goodwill of one devotee and maybe the offense of another devotee are counterbalanced. We're getting a little nuanced here. But anyway, these stories, histories, can be appreciated as instructive incidents that we can both appreciate and learn from. Instructive. Henceforward, this is Prakashananda speaking, henceforward I shall certainly develop devotional service unto your lotus feet. For this reason I have come to you and have fallen down at your lotus feet. Which is exactly the right thing for redemption of Vaishnava Aparad. The prescription, the medicine is very specific. As we were saying yesterday, Vaishnava Aparad is a separate category from other aparads. So, because of its separate category, it also has a separate mechanism for redemption. Separate special medicine is required, which is a personal approach, and this is exactly what Prakashananda is doing here. Etabali prabore lana tataya basila prabore Prakashananda puchetila gila. After saying this, Prakashananda Saraswati sat down with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to question the Lord as follows. Mayavadi karila yata dosira akyana sabe e jana acharyera kalpita vyakyana. Prakashananda Saraswati said, we can understand the faults you have pointed out in the Mayavad philosophy. All the explanations given by Shankaracharya are imaginary. Sutrera karila tumi mukyartha vivarana taha shuni sabara haila chamatkaramana. My dear Lord, whatever meaning you have given when explaining the Brahma Sutra is certainly very wonderful to all of us. The Brahma Sutra, by the way, is another name for the Vedanta Sutra. Tumita Ishwara Tomara Ache Sarva Shakti Sankshepa Rupe Kaha Tumi Shuniti Hayamati. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you have inconceivable energies. I wish to hear from you briefly about the Brahma Sutra. Prabhu kahe ami jiva ati tucha jnana vyasa sutrera gambira artha vyasa bhagavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I am an ordinary living being, and therefore my knowledge is very insignificant. However, the meaning of Brahma Sutra is very grave, because its author, Vyasadeva, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Gambhira means serious or grave. Tanra sutrera artha kona jivana hijane ataeva apani sutrata karyache vyakyane. The purpose of the Vedanta Sutra is very difficult for an ordinary person to understand, but Vyasadeva, out of his causeless mercy, has personally explained the meaning. Ye sutrakarta se yadi karaye vyakyana tabe sutrera mula artha lokera haya jnana. If the Vedanta Sutra is explained by Vyasadeva himself, who has written it, the original meaning can be understood by the people in general. Pranaveda ye artha gayatrite sehaya se artha chatu slokiti vivarya kaya. The meaning of the sound vibration Omkara is present in the Gayatri mantra. The same is elaborately explained in the 4 slokas of the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Chatu Shloki. Brahmare Ishwara Chatu Shloki ye kahila Brahma narade se upadesha kaila. Whatever was spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to Lord Brahma in the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam was also explained to Narad by Lord Brahma. When Narad instructed I'll just continue. Narad se artha vyasere kahila shuni veda vyasamani vichara karila. Whatever Lord Brahma told Narada Muni was again explained by Narada Muni to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva later considered these instructions in his mind. E artha amara sutrera vyakyanurupa bhagavata kariba sutrera basya swarupa. Srila Vyasadeva considered that whatever he had received from Narada Muni as an explanation of Omkara, he would elaborately explain in his book Srimad Bhagavatam as a commentary on Brahma Sutra. Bhagavatam was given, as it says here, originally from Krishna. Brahmare Ishwara Chatu Shloke Ye Kahila. The form of 4 slokas is given, and then Brahma to Narad. It's considered to be 4 oral renditions of the Bhagavatam, commonly called sittings. Guru Maharaj refers to it as sittings of the Bhagavatam. Narad to Vyas, Vyas to Sukadev, Sukadev at a place called Shukratala to a gathering, and then in the audience at Shukratala was Sutta Goswami, and then the last rendition was Sutta Goswami at Naimisharanya at the onset of Kali Yuga. And there we have Parikshit Maharaj, etc. I believe Parikshit Maharaj is there. Yeah. I don't think Parikshit Maharaj was listening to Sukadev. Anyway, that's a side point. There were 4 sittings. And from Narad to Vyas was just a condensed version. I think Guru Maharaj says 10 slokas. So 4 slokas, Chatu Sloki, spoken to Brahma, and from Brahma to Narad. And then Narad to Vyas slightly expanded, and then of course Vyas unpacked it all. Chari Veda Upanishade Yata Kitjuhaya Tada Artha Lana Vyasa Karila Sanchaya. Vyasadeva collected whatever Vedic conclusions were in the 4 Veda and 108 Upanishads and placed them in the codes of the Vedanta Sutra. So all the essence is there. The conclusions. Tada Artha. And like the essence. So finish there. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Revealed Truth by Srila Bhaktisudanta Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. This is the final sub-chapter in this chapter. Some very nectarian, practical but nectarian instructions by Gurudev regarding the chanting of the holy name, and with reference to Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam, which Gurudev will continue in this final subsection here, which is entitled The Lord of Our Heart. Mahaprabhu ends his Shikshastakam with this prayer: Ashlishyava pararatam penashtumam adarshnan marmahatam karotuva yata tatava vididatu lampato mat prananatas se eva naparaha. Verse 8, Sri Shikshastakam. Krishna may embrace me or break my heart by denying me his darshan. Krishna, the Gopavandhu Lampat, enjoyer of the cowherdmen's wives, may do whatever he likes. He will always be the Lord of my heart. This is unconditional surrender. Ananya, unalloyed, Ananya Bhakti, unconditional, unmotivated. No conditions, no caveats. Gurudev says, when a servitor will enter into his service life with this type of mood, he will have the mood of full dedication to the Lord. Different kinds of examinations, sometimes painful examinations, will come to him in his spiritual life. But he will not be able to leave the Lord's lotus feet. He will not see anything except the Lord's service. And he will not be able to leave the Lord's connection in any way. His only target will be Krishna and his service. The mood of Mahaprabhu's final expression is, Krishna can do anything and everything with me. He has full right over me. I will always be his servitor's servitor. I have no other ego or ideal. And elsewhere Mahaprabhu has expressed Gopi Bhatur Parakamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudasa, servant of the servant of the servant. Gurudev says, this verse also has a deeper and a deepest meaning, and all of them will automatically be revealed in our hearts through our service mood. We will naturally be able to see, feel, and embrace those ideals when they are revealed to us. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write many verses or give many instructions. He simply gave the gist of all instructions in his Shikshastakam. There is no way to proceed in our spiritual life or in our chanting of the Lord's holy names without following the directives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, given in his Shikshastakam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam is our life and soul. We will try until death to proceed according to its instructions, and we must be benefited to the utmost by that. Jai Srila Bhaktisudanta Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Gurudev Ki Jai. So that's the end of chapter 15, which was entitled Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mood of Devotion. And the next chapter, chapter 16, which will begin tomorrow, is called Serving Under Proper Guidance. Do you want to sing today, Prabhu? Or should I sing? Maybe I'll sing. I didn't do it. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara.
Jai Harikata Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giri Hari Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Gurudev Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Bharat Ki Jai Vishnu Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Snam Veda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai Snam Veda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat West London Ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Jai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Go.